Good morning, Cincinnati, and welcome in to another episode of the Bearcat Brunch, brought to you, as always, by our partners at Live Healthy Hydrate. Live Healthy Hydrate is locally owned and operated by emergency medicine certified physicians, nurse practitioners, and registered nurses with 120 plus years of combined experience in critical care medicine, utilizing our knowledge and expertise to maximize our clients' health, safety, and comfort. With 3 locations in the Cincinnati area, LHH offers treatments for weekend recovery, game day prep for hydration, and rapid recovery. As a support medication in conjunction with healthy lifestyle and exercise, some people are experiencing significant weight loss with regular semaglutide treatments to help maximize your weight loss and obtain your health and wellness goals. The initial consultation with our medical staff includes a complimentary consultation with a local nutritionist. Visit livehealthyhydrate.com and check the weight loss feature for more information on semaglutide and nutritional support offered by LHH. They offer the popular Myers cocktail as well as the premium proprietary Crown Jewel cocktail, along with customized treatments such as Glow Up, For the Love of Pregnancy, and Feeling Slender. Add-on injections such as B12, Toradol, Zofran, magnesium, zinc, and many more are also available. Most IV treatments are $99.99, as well as some custom and premium treatments at $129.99. They do offer gift cards, and make sure to check them out on Facebook, Instagram, X, and at livehealthyhydrate.com. And with that, we are back in the Cincy Light Studios, wondering if my partner Jeff will also be joining us. But
he's running behind. He did text me. He'll be here.
In the meantime, Aaron Smith sits in as we get to talk about the 41-15 loss last night at Kansas State. Wasn't great.
No.
But Corey Kiner, you know what? I know a lot of people are upset, angry, indifferent, whatever adjective, verb, noun, pronoun, whatever you want to use. But Corey Kiner ran extremely hard last night. And if we're going to talk about anything, we're going to start there, because there wasn't much other than his 15 attempts for 140 yards and the way that he ran the ball, breaking tackles, just running extremely hard throughout the entire game. Kudos to him. Several runs over 20 yards. There's goes over 1,000 yards for the second year in a row. First UC running back since Mike Warren to do that. Go over 1,000 yards 2 consecutive seasons. So on a rough day for the Cats, want to make sure we shout out Corey. He's been consistent, been awesome all year. So good to see him have a nice game yesterday. Jeffrey, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. I don't. I mean, I know we were kind of texting back and forth last night during the game. It just feel like a broken record. I mean,
yes, it's
things have
unfortunately feeling a lot like the end of last year right now.
I mean, it's just been just pure regression from the start of the season. And I don't know if that's because the teams at the beginning of the season were really that much worse, which I can't really totally believe that that's the case. I mean, I know we've said it and he's said it, but Scoresby's got to be better. I mean, I feel like we've said that every week for the past, really probably since the Texas Tech game.
I mean, that's kind of that feels like that's the dividing line. I mean, since Texas Tech, 6 games, they're averaging 20 points a game and haven't scored more than 24. And it's going down each week. It was it was 23, it was 24, it was 24, then it was 19, then 17, now 15.
I mean, we said after that game, and I know you brought this up last week, where we kind of felt like, okay, like this is a team that they can kind of hang with anybody, at least on the offensive side, and that should give them a shot in most games. And since we've said that, it's been just anemic on offense. I mean, they haven't been able to put a game together where they can hang with them, and it's you just know that every play is going to be a little swing pass. I don't even know, like, I know Aaron and I kind of discussed it last night. Like, I don't even know if that's the call that's being made, or if it's just that Sorsby is just like he's immediately looking over because he's like, I'm just going to dump it off.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's certainly he's missed another couple overthrows. He had the interception where it looked like it was a Texas route from Corey coming out of the backfield, and the linebacker seemed to read it, and he just threw it too early and right to the end. I mean, great play by Mott to have the reaction time to catch that, but like that play is kind of a delayed play. Like you run like almost like a triangle route. It's called a Texas route. You got the running back kind of looks like he goes out, and then he cuts back into the middle of the field, and he threw it way before you would normally throw it in that route. Now I don't know if it was maybe because the linebacker was coming up and he thought that it was going to be taken away, so he had to throw it early. But there was one throw that it's 2nd and 6 inside the while the game is still in question, and he just airmails a stop route to Mays that would have been an easy first down.
Yeah.
So it's not even the long passes that are overthrown, or what. It's like easy throws like that. I mean, those were the stick routes to Hendo early in the season that were just automatic, right out there, 6, 8, 10 yards, turn around, I'm going to throw you the ball. Like, and that would have been a first down, and he just throws it too hot over his head there. Had hot route to Tony Johnson, missed on. I mean, it's kind of confounding that this team is going from like doing some things actually really well to now just doing them terribly.
Yeah, I think
Mason Fletcher can't kick the ball past 40 yards now.
That might be more surprising than what is going on, with the offense. I mean, that's crazy, and I think that kind of that really falls in the same vein of what with Sorsby was kind of like. I think it's the most frustrating is we've seen him not be this way. The same way we've seen Mason Fletcher be able to, kick the ball to the moon.
Right.
It's.
I just don't understand what. And again, we play this from afar, but like
You're right.
Wednesday or in last week, Kansas State gets torched in the pass game. Arizona State's best receiver has 12 catches on 12 targets for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. So we come out running the ball against the number 10 rush defense in the country and number 11 rush defense in yards allowed per carry. Our first 4 runs are all for negative yards. I don't understand how these teams that have shown to be bad against the pass just all of a sudden are good against it.
Well, there's a common
right.
theme with that. It's
exactly. Couldn't after the first first drive or two, just couldn't get end of the ball. Royer didn't have a catch until late in the game. Mays, who had been put out on milk cartons, is now targeted 7 times in like the first 2 or 3 drives. Another third down and short where I'm like, what, we're going to try to trick them and pretend play action, release the wide receiver down the middle of the field. That's an overthrow, 4th and 1 QB run. Did I just mention, open the show with the guy who ran the ball, I think, for over 9 yards a carry on double-digit carries.
I don't even care.
9.3.
9.3. Thank you, Aaron.
I don't even care if he's rushing the ball for 9.3 yards a carry in that game. He's at damn near 6 yards a carry on the season.
Yes.
And you don't give him the ball one. Like you've struggled to move the ball the whole game to that point. Like you haven't had anything that has like really gone your way, been able to sustain anything. And now you're finally being able to sustain something. You're kind of moving the ball down the field a little bit. You get to 3rd and 1, and you put together, like you said, like you decide to go take a shot because I guess you're going to go for it on 4th down. So
don't get to 4th down.
Right. What?
They were 0 for 5 on 4th down. Mason Fletcher punted twice in the first quarter and then never touched the field again because they were 0 for 5 on 4th down.
I mean, it's just wild that in that instance with a quarterback and an offense that has been missing on a lot of these like down the field routes, like you have not been performing well in that area of the game, and you decide 3rd and 1 right there, we're going to try to go over the top and trick them essentially here.
It's happened.
Hand the ball to Corey Kiner and let him get you the yard.
It's happened so many times.
If you know you're going for it on 4th down, if you don't get it on 3rd down, just hand the ball to Corey twice. Everybody can live with that. But throwing the ball deep over the middle and then a quarterback run to hand the ball back to Kansas State is not, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I like.
Makes 0 sense.
I don't love to play like, armchair play caller.
Right.
Never called a single play in a football game that has any modicum of importance. But it's one thing if like one time you're like, well, we saw a look and it was there, we just missed it. Whatever. Okay, fine. One time. Whatever game it was, down in the goal line when we throw the ball twice. We ended up winning the game, whatever. But don't score a touchdown. West Virginia game, 4th and 1. Let's call another type of pass play. The running backs lined up on the wrong side. We're confused. We still snap the ball. Interception return for a touchdown. Like, it's not one time. It's not even 2 times. It feels like 3rd and short, 4th and short, it's what play can we call to trick them instead of what play can we call to get the 1st down.
Corey Kiner's on this team. Heck.
Yeah, they did. They were really doing a good job establishing the run in the second half, down 20-something points.
Well, it was funny. I was talking to Aaron at the time, and I was like, I get it. Like, I guess the passing game hasn't been working, but that's the only way to come back at this point.
Yeah, I don't know,
like,
man.
You're gonna have to throw the ball down the field.
Like, thoughts are all over the place. Like, the play that just encapsulated it all to me was the play when they got the 1st down and fumbled. It's 4th and 13. 4th and 13. Avery Johnson is on the sideline because he doesn't think they're going to go for it. Coach decides to go for it, so Avery runs back. He's able to just run back in. Plays called. 4th and 13, drop 8. Guy still open. How many times did that happen? Drop 8. Guy's still open. Catches the ball short of the first down. Miss another tackle. Tackling was pretty terrible yesterday.
Again.
Guy comes from behind, doing great job in pursuit, play until the end of the whistle, hits him, forces a fumble. What do? Nope, we don't dive on it. We try to pick it up and kick it out of bounds. Like, the number of errors on one play that just all I could do, I was audibly laughing out loud. That you do so many things incorrectly, and then one guy makes a great play for you, and then the rest of the team then goes right back to screwing up and just boots it out of bounds.
I mean, really, right there, like what it's. I mean, it's still gonna be a long shot. You're down 27-9 right there, and we won't even talk about why you're down. Well, we will. Once again, the end of the half, and I know you mentioned the interception that Mott had, but you go into the end of the half there, and once again we just hand over 7 points going into the half. So instead of you're down, instead of being down 17.
No, they would have been down 20. They would have been down 20-3.
20-3. But then you come out of the half, you force a 3 and out, and then once again on downs, and then you force another 3 and out, and then you get a touchdown, and then so now it's 27-9. And you're like, okay, there's a glimmer here. This could potentially turn around. And then you have, like you said, the 4th and 13, where, like, how disrespectful is it for a coach to be like, 4th and 13, we're gonna do this? Like, even like the odds of getting a 4th and 13 there are not good.
No, they're not even really trying. Like it's
just
4th and 13 from the 35. The only thing they're thinking is like, let's just
maybe
not get a field goal,
30, right?
Not get a field goal blocked and return for a touchdown. So we'll just run a play and see what happens. I mean, they threw it 5 yards short of the first down.
And then you get a guy that gets tackled across the first down marker, which happened at least twice. And I get it, like you're chasing a guy from behind, like you hit him, like he's going forward a little bit, but the ball comes out, and you're like, oh, is this it? Are we and then you got 3 guys that are like staring at it like they've never seen a fumble before, or don't have hands. I don't know but you kick it out of bounds. It wasn't even like it was right by the side. It was closer to the hashes than it was the sideline.
Just jump on it, man. Just jump on it.
And then 2 plays later, Giddens runs to the outside, is at like the 5-yard line, and I get it. Like, okay, everybody, you're down a lot.
Yeah,
this sucks. It's demoralizing, but you could visibly see, like, I don't want to say give up or quit.
No,
or
but
whatever,
I mean,
but like
he's a big back and he runs hard. But there were multiple times, not just that one, where there were some business decisions made.
Yeah,
that they would run in and like almost try to like tackle the ball, and if you didn't get the ball, well, we talked Wednesday night about me thinking Avery Johnson might have been injured, and he certainly wasn't injured last night based on the way he ran the ball, which does put you in. I mean, everybody saw it. The guy is not just athletic. I mean, that has legit speed.
Oh.
So it puts you in certainly puts you in a bind of how you're going to call a defense when you have a running threat like that. But even on like the auto passing downs, we're getting no pressure with 3. We're never bringing more than 3. We're dropping 8, and they're still completing passes for first down.
Like easy. I mean, it's not even
like. So I understand the drop 8, against a guy like him, but you have to then be able to cover. Like, how can you have just receivers wide open against theoretically 8 defenders?
I can't answer it other than to say that you just don't have the dudes back there.
No. I mean, that's been the one spot on the defense that it has made some strides. The one spot on the defense that has remained poor is pretty much any statistic you want to look at from a passing standpoint. Whether it's lack of interceptions, whether it's opponent passer rating allowed, whether it's plays of 20, 30, 40, 50 yards or more allowed. They're all in the 90s or hundreds nationally. The defense did not have a good game. Let's not pretend it did. The last couple games, I think the defense played well enough for the offense to win a game last night. Neither played well, so let's not get that twisted at all. I mean, but again, like Kansas State's 3 for 6 in the red zone. The defense is at least like trying to keep you at an incredibly long arm reach until they finally just you guys can't move the ball, you can't score, you can't flip the field. Eventually, they're gonna break.
I mean, they did. They coming out of the half. You force 2 3 and outs, kind of give your offense a chance to get back in it after the offense. I mean, it's really hard for me to put the touchdown at the end of the second quarter, at the end of the first half. Really hard for me to put that on the defense when your offense gives them the ball on the 5 yard line, because they did their darndest to have a goal line stand there, and it just didn't end up materializing, obviously. But you've got that, and the defense. I mean, they tried. They forced like I said, the 2 3 and outs. I mean, that's as good as you're gonna get, aside from a turnover. And that took up all of 2.5 minutes for those 2 drives for Kansas State out of the half. The defense was like, here, offense, here's the ball back, do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did score a touchdown after the second one, but you just have to be able to take advantage of those. And this offense can do that. We just haven't seen it for the last 5 weeks.
No, it's just...
And that's what's frustrating.
It's just been... It's been wildly inconsistent, but now it's consistent now because it's 6 games in a row. They can't score. They started out the year quite well on third down. That's gone out the window. It's 3rd and 3 for 12 and 0 for 5 on fourth down. So you're 3 for 17 on those 2 downs. It's just, nothing feels like it builds off of itself. It feels like there's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing offensively. And maybe you just think that because it's been unsuccessful, and maybe there is, and I don't know, man. It's the offense and special teams regression from 5-2 to 5-6 is incredibly concerning on multiple levels.
From multiple levels and multiple reasons. I don't understand how it goes from being success. I get it. Competition gets better. Schemes don't line up the right way against certain teams, but it's literally every team.
So right, 6 games in a row. It's just whatever they're trying to do offensively is not working
at all. I mean
against
some of the times it looks
against good pass defenses, bad pass defenses, good rush defenses, bad rush defenses. It doesn't matter. It's not clicking.
And I know, like, I guess it's kind of it's easy for us to look at it afterwards and say that, but it's like it's out and out obvious that there. I mean, I don't even know where you make the change at, because like we jokingly kind of say things about, oh yeah, like just bench him, bring this guy. Like, it what's more concerning maybe is that there doesn't seem to be another option anywhere. And I'm not. I mean, I don't know that anybody else gives you a better chance than what they're putting out there right now. And obviously we're not at practice, so if and is it looking good in practice? Are things working in practice? And passes are being completed and things aren't being checked down, or maybe that's the call. I don't know. But if that's the case, and then on game day it's looking the way that it's been looking, I mean,
well, no, there's certainly something we can don't have the ability to really answer, but like the part that is frustrating is like the throws are there. He's making good throws on other occasions. It's just the consistency has dropped incredibly. The turnovers are up. I don't know if that's a feeling forced thing, but it's I'm less player on this and more just the overall system of it feels broken.
Yeah.
Like,
but again, it goes back to the same thing. It's like, why was it successful? Why did it work? Why were they able to string things together very consistently the first half of the season?
I don't know, man.
And then it's seemingly like an entirely different team on the field with the same guys.
Yeah.
And
so, I mean, it's wild that you've seen, it's one thing if a bad unit gets worse. Like, okay, we knew it was bad, but they're having things that they actually did well, and segments of games that they actually did well are just now not good at all. So you got one game left. I don't really have much more else to talk about Kansas State.
We're kind of talking in circles at this point. On the
one game left. Home, TCU, 6 o'clock. So you get a nip at night after filling yourself up with turkey and ham and all that. So nip at night, TCU, scoring points. Gonna need to.
I mean, this was the quote unquote doomsday scenario that we talked about.
Josh Hoover and his merry band of wide receivers, who now apparently one of them is also playing running back and ran for 2 touchdowns, or they're giving him the ball in running situations, and had 2 touchdowns against Arizona last night as a rusher.
Things are going to have to change.
Hope it's cold and windy.
Some things are going to have to change, because I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it. I mean, we talk about how things can change as you start a season. Expectations can move around, and we started the year and before the season, and everybody said 6 wins is the goal, and let's get bowl eligible this year. 6 wins right now I don't think, feel like you got to where you could have got to this season. But you gotta try to get there so you can get to a bowl game. And
5-2 to 5-7 doesn't. There's not a lot of words that need to be said.
It doesn't sit well.
So we shall see. The fellas will have plenty tomorrow night on the BBP. We'll have a preview of TCU Wednesday night on the BCJ pod.
Yeah,
But
Jeremy says it wouldn't feel like a real win, but bowling would definitely
well,
feel better than not. And let me ask you this: is this
I
this is
want to let you guys know they're probably going to go to a bowl game even if they don't win Saturday.
well, this is what that's what I'm going to bring up. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I'm indifferent because I don't care about bowl games in general. You have a 12-team playoff. I mean, it's great for the players, great for the staff. Like, you earn it. This is me saying it just from a fan's perspective. Will, you got to turn that off. Will, turn it off. Sorry. I don't care.
That's fair.
Like, because the reason is apparently they're second in terms of like 5 and 7 teams because of APR or whatever they measure this on. Like, if 2 teams don't want to go to a bowl game, then they would have the opportunity to choose if they would like to go to a bowl game at 5 and 7 and have the potential to then end the season on a 6-game losing streak. Go from 5 and 2 to 5 and 5 and have the illustrious 5 and 8 record.
I know
see that a lot.
I know that I said I wanted to, a couple weeks ago I was like, let's win, 2 of these, get to 7, maybe we steal another one, get to 8 wins and then play like Wisconsin and I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I mean, maybe it's like a nice thing for the players, but the bowl games actually mean even less now with if that was possible.
Right. 12-team playoff.
These other
and you want to hype me up on a bowl game that my team finished the year 5 and 7.
Mayo.com bowl doesn't really hold any draw for me to watch other than the Bearcats playing football, I guess. But
yeah, so I guess again, there'll be plenty to. If they end up going 5 and 7, the autopsy will be deep. But we don't need to get into that today. This is about Saturday in the world of college football. So that segment was brought to you by our great friends at Royal Links Golf Tours. Have you always wanted to play golf at St. Andrews? Have you ever enjoyed that perfect pint of Guinness in Ireland? Well, now you can, thanks to Royal Links Golf Tours. They are the golf tour specialist offering unforgettable golf experiences to Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales. Their custom itineraries are more than golf trips. They are immersive cultural and country experiences that will surprise and delight you both on and off the course. Royal Links Golf Tours is owned by former Bearcat quarterback Hayden Moore and his partner, UC alum Jeff Bartholomew. So if you'd like to play St. Andrews or Ballybunion, please visit their website at royallinksgolftours.com or call them directly, 770-331-1525. So, there was quite the interesting day. The UC game wasn't that interesting. The day of college football was very interesting. It was a great day to be a Tennessee Vol. I do need to start out there. But, the Vols won a game that they should have won and then watched a lot of their playoff competition take L's.
The teams that aren't going to be bumping up that aren't in front of them. It wasn't like ranked on ranked violence.
No, there were 4 top 16 teams, I believe, that lost to unranked teams. Then there was obviously Indiana losing to Ohio State, but I mean, we have to start with Alabama just getting held to a field goal against Oklahoma. That one was not on my bingo card.
Yeah. How about that illegal touching penalty
in that game?
Yeah,
did not see it.
So they were down, and like I don't know all of the nuances, but there seemed to be enough people that were throwing a fit about it. So they were still down 24-3. I think it was the start of the fourth quarter, and Williams had a catch in the corner of the end zone. It was like a 38-yard touch. I mean, it was a incredible play, incredible catch. And the line judge comes running down, throws the flag, and like everybody. But they said he was covered up on the end of the line, and
an ineligible receiver downfield thing.
Yeah, and he was like the second receiver from the outside, but the outside receiver was off the line of scrimmage, and so he was on the line, and it was like I said, apparently they run that on a regular, like they line up that way like several times a game.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't watch Alabama enough to like know those things, but it was quite the crusher because I guess you score there, it's 24-10, still have an entire quarter to go. But instead, I think that made it. I think they turned it over at that point.
Yes,
we had that, so.
Lane Kiffin earlier in the week talking about teams not wanting to play in conference championship games to ruin their chance, to hurt their chances at making the playoff, and then of course he goes and turns around and loses at Florida, another game that helps the Vols. Texas A&M, who is now in a winner gets in SEC championship game, loser does not. With Texas next week, they go to Auburn, go down 21-0, fight back, get the game into overtime. Game goes into, I think, double overtime. Auburn's receiver makes an incredible catch in the end zone, just incredible catch. And then in the stupidest way to decide a game ever, 2-point conversion competition, Texas A&M had a guy, and he just flat stone cold dropped it in the end zone, would have forced another overtime. So Auburn gets that win. You had BYU losing. You had Indiana losing. Colorado lost to unranked Kansas, who is a wagon now. Like they're playing the way everybody thought they would play.
Well, Devin Neal had 37 carries for 207 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like
plus a bunch of receiving yards too. So yeah, you have Indiana. How far will they drop? And then
they just got throttled. I mean, in Indiana.
I mean, Ohio State and Oregon are pretty. I think they're a cut above.
I mean, I likened the Ohio State Indiana game was much like, to me, when UC played Alabama. Like when you just see the difference between like a team of 3-star recruits that have played very well all year against the competition that was in front of them.
Not their fault at all. Not
at all. And then you end up walking into a team of with a much larger payroll than you.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're having actually it's in every way, shape, and form, it's a historic season for Indiana.
Yeah.
They've won 10 games, which they've never done. Literally never done. Started playing football in 1899. Have 0 double-digit wins seasons.
Yeah.
You're talking about a team that was bad enough that their coach got fired. So take that into account with the roster. The new coach brings in dudes from James Madison. And now
the quarterback is Maction.
Yeah, from Ohio. OU, Curtis Rourke. But yeah, I think Ohio State, Oregon, Georgia are kind of my 3 best teams, and then who the heck knows after that?
Maybe Texas.
I mean, maybe, but like their best win this year is Vandy.
Just they're kind of in the same boat as well. That falls the same way as like Indiana. You see this team, right? Like, they're 10-0, and then they but at least like Texas has had the pedigree in the past of being able.
But that's
to
what I don't
like,
understand about these. Like, I mean, we don't need to turn this into like a ranking show, but
yeah,
none of these teams are that great. So who did you actually beat? You're all going to have losses. Who are you good enough to actually beat? But Notre Dame is really good especially when they play the military. I think it's safe to say Notre Dame has better football players than the military.
yeah.
They
that
they
and
outscored Army and Navy at least 100-21. I don't know what it ended up being, if there were any meaningless points after I looked that up, but it was 100-21 Notre Dame's combined win total versus Army and Navy this year.
Well, I mean, we know that Marcus Freeman. I texted this to you guys yesterday. Marcus Freeman was embarrassed one time by the Academy running games and the silliness that they do, and he was like, never again. Army had scored, I think, a touchdown on their first possession every game this year, and they only had they'd only punted the ball or had maybe 3 and outs or punted the ball 10 times this year.
Right.
And they did it twice in the first 2 possessions that they had. I didn't look to see how many they ended up punting, but Marcus Freeman will not ever give up almost 600 yards on the ground to a military.
No.
Well, again.
And it helps when you have much better players like he has now. Minnesota, Penn State wins 26-25.
Oh, I didn't even realize it was that there was
in a game that I was watching in a quad box and watching as a UT fan, saying like, okay, we need Penn State to lose, and having to rely on PGA Fleck was a odd juxtaposition. They need a touchdown, right? So it's 1st and goal, and they're throwing the ball to tackles. I'm like, you guys need a touchdown to win this game. Field goal doesn't do it. And one of your plays inside the 10-yard line is to throw it to a tackle. And of course, they don't score. They kick a field goal. They lose by 1.
It's the lost art of trickeration, and it tricks yourself more often than it does.
I just don't understand trying to trick the defense more than just running plays that you're really good at running.
Just beat people straight up. You use the best guys. Like you went. I mean, it's the same thing as like in the look at it like the NFL or like anything. Like you picked these specific people to play these spots.
Yeah, we need a touchdown bad. Let's not throw it to our wide receiver. Let's throw it to our tackle.
Let's throw it to the guy that we brought here to block for everybody else. Like his hands are like bricks. Let's throw it to that guy instead of the dude that probably stands in front of a jugs machine for hours on end.
Right.
And the ball hit him in the face.
Right. What any other games that
wait a minute. We did not mention him last week when he broke the record.
Our guy, yeah.
Ashton Genty, 19 carries, 169 yards and a touchdown, and Boise State rolls on.
Playing hurt. Comeback win against 2-whatever Wyoming.
2-9.
So
2-8 at the time, but now 2-9
so
Wyoming.
They keep their grips on what looks to be the G5 spot in the playoff.
ACC powerhouse SMU with yet another victory.
They're rolling.
They're gonna win the ACC, aren't they?
Well, it's them, Miami, and Clemson. They all haven't played each other, so I don't know what.
This
is how messed up. This is another rant on a totally different subject, but this is how messed up these mega conferences
that's what I was going to go with.
Have become. That Oregon last weekend, Oregon clinched a spot in the Big Ten championship game
And the Big Ten didn't
And
know
the
it.
Big Ten didn't know about it until Tuesday of this week. Because they had to go through so many different tiebreak scenarios to verify that was true.
That there was no way that they would even losing out.
I think your conferences are a little too big when it takes 48 hours to realize that one of your teams clinched a spot in its conference championship.
Well, and then it's the same thing as it was actually the Big Ten again. There was that not totally off the wall scenario at the time that if Ohio State had lost to Penn State and then Indiana beat Ohio State, that it could potentially have ended up being Penn State and Indiana in the Big Ten championship game, and it would have left Oregon out based on the tiebreak that it would have had to go down to was margin of victory over Ohio State, and Oregon only won by a point. And you would think that maybe those games, just by the nature of football, that they would have probably beat, if they beat Ohio State, it would have been by more than a point. And then you would have had a situation where the number one team in the country isn't in the conference championship game because you have 87 teams in the conference and they don't play each other.
Yeah,
that's the biggest issue here is that you have so many of these teams that don't play each other, and they all beat up on the bottom half of the conference, and they end up with one loss or no losses, and now you've got them all at the top of the.
Yeah, the Big 12 is the same. I mean, they've got 4 teams tied at 6-2. I saw something last night. If they all win, it's Arizona State, Iowa State. They all win their last game. It's Arizona State, Iowa State. If they all lose their last game, then it brings in TCU, Texas Tech, Baylor, West Virginia. Then would now have if they won, then all these teams could potentially be 6-3, and
with tiebreak scenarios, who knows who ends up in there?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
I mean, the SEC is pretty similar as far as having them. There's a chance
SEC,
you got a 3-loss Alabama team.
Well, the SEC, it's Georgia versus the winner of Texas A&M.
Okay, so that's cut and dry there then.
Yeah, because those teams would be 6-2, and if Texas wins, they're 6-2. If Texas A&M wins, they have 3 losses, I don't know. They have 2 losses, but they have the tiebreaker over Texas. So
it's far too difficult for me to even
Yeah, it's just funny. It takes 48 hours to figure out one of our teams is in the conference championship. But 1 week to go. Sure, it'll be a lot like this week. I mean, there's a lot of games that still do have major impact, whether it's making your conference championship, making it to the playoff. That's what air quotes, we wanted was more games that mattered at the end of the season. Now and it won't be this way every year, but the 180 to that is that a 12-team playoff needs 12 teams. And we're seeing, at least this year, that there's not 12 playoff-worthy teams. But hey, they got 12-team playoffs, so they got to get 12 teams.
There's 2, and then there are 10 that will probably there's probably legitimately those 10 teams below Oregon and Ohio State probably have pretty decent games throughout the playoffs there, just until they run into those, and maybe one of them pulls up. I mean, Ohio State did struggle with Nebraska, so you never know. You catch them on an off day, and there might be an upset, and that's kind of what
different kind of pressure now. I mean, you get a home game, different kind of pressure. So, we'll continue our Bengals hiatus. I have nothing good to say about them.
I have nothing to talk about them. With them, we did have Kobe Bryant had 5 tackles. Brian Cook had 4. Jerome Ford, his rushing, he had, obviously he's not the featured guy anymore, but he had 5 carries for 10 yards and 4 receptions for 29. Sauce Gardner, 4 tackles. Travis Kelce did nothing. Ivan Pace, 4 tackles. Alec Pierce had 74 yards on 3 receptions. And that's about it. So.
All right. Well, again, unfortunate. Bearcats fall 41-15 at Kansas State. Moves them to 5-6 on the season. One more home game to go. Against the TCU Horned Frogs, 6 p.m. Nippert Stadium this Saturday. Hope to see everybody there. Thanks to everybody that joins in the chat. Thanks to Aaron. Thanks to Jeff. Thanks to Royal Links Golf Tours. And, of course, Live Healthy Hydrate. And from the Cincy Light Studios, everybody have a great Sunday. We will see you again next week.